The Lui Diaz podcast.
Note to self, do more tourist stuff in the places that you live.
Yeah, well, there's people that run tours.
Yeah.
I was telling my last guest, I was like, I should do that guy's tour someday, so I could figure out what I don't know about my own city.
The only time I've been here, I was on the City of Melbourne ad.
Oh shit!
I was an extra.
You were an extra.
I walked around with like a pretend girlfriend going, oh, right?
And you clap yourself in.
And
Pretend girlfriend.
yeah, we were like, oh fucking, how good is this, right?
Episode 66. Yeah.
But it's been a while.
It is good.
This is my first time as a real person in
The
Hosier lane.
As a non-actor.
And fucking tourists just walk around gawking, don't they? It's the best.
They love it. They love it. And they love this.
They love this. They would walk past and then rubberneck it.
Well, how often do you see a podcast being recorded live?
I've never seen a podcast in the wild.
Yeah, in the
I've never wild podcast has appeared.
Oh, it gets wild here,
You
bro.
know what I mean?
It does.
You get any fucking crazies walk
Oh,
past?
absolutely.
You know, fucking got any fucking, yeah.
100. We'll get them.
You
Look,
don't
we'll
get that
them.
on Rogan, do you?
No,
you
you don't.
get that on Rogan.
Well, I was thinking about that too, and I've got to turn myself down because I'm way too loud. I was thinking about that too, and I was thinking, Joe couldn't possibly do this in the street.
He'd be torn apart by the fans, right? Yeah.
Oh, no, I fucking turned you down just
Check
then.
1,
I'm a
2,
dumbass.
2.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah. MILF. I did just say that.
Yeah, you did. How old are you?
I was 15 when American Pie came out, and that term was introduced into
I was born in 87.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
84.
Oh, you're old now. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking about this the other day that we know we're getting older because MILFs have disappeared. You know, think about they're just our age now.
Oh, no, they're younger than you.
Right?
You're just like, oh.
Yeah. When I was 20, I'd be like, MILF. Now I look at a lady, I'm like, that's just a lady with an interesting story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just some girl with half of some guy's super. You know what I
see a
mean?
girl that was in grade 4 when I was in year 12, and I'm calling her a MILF.
So,
Yeah. There you go.
You never know. There's a time in your life when you never knew that you'd seen your last MILF.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing. So I guess the moral of the story is enjoy them
While
they're here.
Yeah.
Because one day, you're the creep.
profound life advice.
Enjoy the MILFs while they're around, baby. Because one day they'll be gone.
No, they just get younger. They get younger. That's what happens.
Yeah, they do.
And then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I am a creep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yep.
I'm the dirty old man.
2 men in an alleyway talking about women. Welcome back to another episode of 2 Men in an Alleyway talking about women.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good name for
this is another episode. Thanks to the audience for joining us for another episode of the Lui Diaz podcast, available on Spotify and YouTube or whatever.
Plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm guilty of? Not plugging enough.
Guilty.
You know what I mean?
Guilty's a harsh word for that.
Well, there's
not
this really
illegal.
great book by Austin Kleon. He wrote this book called Steal Like an Artist, and his follow-up book was called Show Your Work. And it was like, oh, now that I've written this book called Steal Like an Artist, and everyone's inspired to go and figure out how to be like their idols in the creative world, like what I've realized is the problem with all you people is that you're expecting your work to speak for itself, and that you build it and they will come. But that's not the case. Build it and they will come is not the case. No, you need to tell people about your work. You're really good at that.
You're talking to the right guy, man.
Yeah.
I used to fucking throw up before I did this. My saying that resonates in my head is work hard and advertise.
Yeah.
Right? So 2 people can work exactly the same, but one person can just push it out to the world more. We know that that plus time equals result, right? And the 2 people are working the same amount. But I used to, that was something I had to get over a lot before I started getting out there to the world. Yeah. I used to throw up before I did comedy. I used to get...
You used to throw up.
Yeah, nervous
You had a full
nervous.
Zoolander
Totally.
bulimic streak in you.
100%. I used to take about 2-3 hours to work up the courage to make a reel.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah, I was just self-conscious, and I used to be like, I'd have a shower, and I'd just be like, then I'd get ready, and I'd be sweaty, so I'd have to have another shower.
Dude, that's incredible to think that you're here now at this stage in your career where things are growing rather quickly. Because I think when a lot of people are in that phase, it'd be so easy to quit. No, I can't. This is not for me. I can't do this. I can't. I don't want to do a reel.
Mate, that is, and yes, and that is. I mean, everything great in life is on the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
So And that's the thing, like when you start something, it's all very new and exciting. And there's a car driving past. This is awesome.
It's a ute. It's not just a car, mate. It's a fucking ute. Get it right.
It's got a fucking man in it. Yeah. He's a dangerous man. When you get to at the start, everything's exciting. But then when you got to actually knuckle down and do it over and over again, and it's horrible, especially when you're not getting a result.
Like
I remember when I was first making reels, like no one was watching them for ages. Fucking dude, 100 reels. Like no one watched it. Yeah, mate. I started doing because I was computer illiterate.
Oh,
yeah. Up until
I guess that's why you ended up in the army.
Well, that's why. Because I didn't have a computer when I was growing up. You know, played a bit of like Age of Empires 2, but like we weren't coding.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was getting groomed on Messenger.
Yeah.
MSN Messenger. You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah,
Like, that was pedophile central.
Well, I didn't have it. We didn't similar to you. I didn't have a computer growing up.
Yeah.
And then we did, but it wasn't connected to the internet for ages.
Right.
Mum just wouldn't get internet. Oh, we got dial up, but it was shit. We didn't know how to use it. I was playing video games like on the computer that no one could see. Like it wasn't on a network.
Yeah, it was just a CD.
It was a CD-ROM. ROM.
You're playing SimCity.
Old school.
Yeah. ROM. These young people are like, what are these guys talking about?
So I can relate. And then I went to uni, and they were like, "Oh, this is a Mac," and suddenly I had to figure out how to bridge the gap from fucking Windows 95 to an Apple computer from 2004. And so, you know, it was a big learning curve, but I got stuck in, and it was like addictive. I was like, okay, I can get this. I can figure this out.
Yeah, we got this, baby. Let's go. Yeah,
pretty much. But yeah, that's so interesting that you I would never have guessed that you were that, because you're so charismatic.
I went to the army straight away, right? And then they were like, computers? No, you just do kill, right? You know, they're like, we don't do that. We used one computer to calculate. It was actually called a fire computer. So you just calculate trajectories of incoming artillery rounds, right? So if you want to call in missions, you can shoot them in. Oh. So that's as far as you go.
This is so hectic.
But the rest of that is just like throw a grenade, this, shoot rocket launcher, that. Like it's just like whatever, right? So, but then I left the infantry and I became a fine dining chef. Is here in Melbourne. I worked at a place called Cutler and Co. for many years in Fitzroy.
I know Cutler and Co.
And
I think I know a chick that I was dating a girl that worked.
Your old hospo staff, eh?
Yeah,
dude. It's the fucking root fest, right?
Yeah.
It is a root fest.
That's true. Don't screw the crew.
That's the saying, but everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like comedy, but and so.
Oh, really?
So then I get out of that. So I'm like 30, right?
Yeah.
By the time I finish my two sort of big careers.
How old are you now?
I'm 38 this year.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any skills on the computer. I mean, I could send an email, but I didn't have any
advanced.
How do I become a social media guru? Like that wasn't fucking on the radar. And this shit had come along. Like I didn't have Facebook at school. It wasn't there. Like much like yourself, right?
Yeah. Came out just after school.
My daughter's 15 this year.
Oh,
right?
no way.
Guru.
Really? Yeah.
Mate, she's killing it, right?
Mine's 17 this year.
Yeah, and they're just like they're all over it. She was
born with it.
Born with a tablet, right? Yeah. And so sometimes I'm like, hey, can you help us get on the Wi-Fi? And she's like, yeah, no worries. Can I get in one of your reels? And I'm like, get your own audience, motherfucker. Like, get out of it, right? But
she likes what you do. She's proud of you.
Well, she was.
That's nice.
For a while, she was like, Dad's a bit lame.
Yeah.
Until
that's where my kid's at now. That's a phase she's going through.
One of the boys at school was like, "Is that your dad?"
Yeah.
He was like in cadets, right?
Oh.
And she's like, "Yeah, that's my dad." And she's like, "Holy fucking shit, that's your dad!" And then all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh,
Dad's cool.
Dad's cool, right?"
Nice.
So
Fuck yeah.
So get a load of this.
That
right?
happens.
So she came to me and she's like, "Hey, can you make my friend Lucas a video, right?" And I go, "Yeah, we make Lucas a video, right?" And then so I make it, "Hey mate, how you doing? Stay in school, fucking whatever."
Yeah.
So I'm like, What's his pay? I'll send it to him.
Yeah.
She's like, no, send it to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I send it to her. And then like a little bit later, it dawns on me. She's like, she likes Lucas.
Right, yeah.
And Luke,
no. How did you not fucking know that?
Because I'm old, bro. I'm an accomplice to a fingering, you know what I mean? Like, This is bad. This is bad. You know what I mean? This is bad news, right?
And we're just going to kiss behind the bike sheds.
But fucking, dude, you know the kids that get, come on, bro, you were young.
No, I like being naive. It's fucking safe in my head.
You're a parent. You just put your head in the ground.
Yes,
hey?
you do. You bury
Oh,
it deep
no,
in
you
the
don't.
ground, and you do not think about that shit.
Yeah,
you just don't.
Your kid's like, I'm going to such and such's house for a sleepover. You're like, I believe that word for word. You know what I mean?
My God.
Sort of thing, right?
I don't want to ask questions.
So at my age, we'd be like, we're going to Gavin's house, right? We're sleeping at we're not at Gavin's house. We're making fucking bombs and blowing
true.
up shit.
That's
right?
true, but you were a boy.
Yeah,
See,
but we
boys
was
get up to different
as soon
shit.
as we could smell some lady fucking hormones because
Yeah.
we had our own, we were just ravenous, bro.
Yeah.
We were just like anything. So
Yeah, I still haven't got over that phase.
Lucas, if you're listening,
Yeah, Lucas, fucking watch it.
drop your dog.
I mean, as like, what's confusing to me about Lucas is knowing how much access you had to guns and how he was still keen. That says something to me about the quality of the man to go, no, I've got this.
Oh, you reckon? All right, we're on Lucas's side now. Yeah, okay.
Well, you know,
no, good on him.
I like to play devil's advocate. I like to think, you know what, Lucas already did the maths
Do you
on
know
this.
what? Now you mention it, fuck me daughter. Yeah. Do it. What?
Actually, you're all right.
Yeah, do it. I like a good kid with some kahunas.
Yeah, because you know I could fuck you up, but you're still going there anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've come full circle. All right, I approve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well done here.
that's
But
good.
yeah, so I went in these two industries. I'm 30, right? I start doing comedy, and then I wasn't until COVID. I was COVID like ruined. I was like kind of primed to go full time comedy around about then. In hindsight, that probably would have been a bit too early, but hey, that's life. And COVID knocked the shit out of everything, right? So I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to find out how to make this TikToks and reels and shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get on top of this.
Yeah.
And I've got time. Like, my backup was hospitality, and I was about to be a full time entertainer. So COVID just wiped me.
Yeah.
Lost my whole life savings. Best thing that ever happened, right? It was just
Really?
well, it gave me the space,
I
right?
love that.
It was there's no fate in it. There's not like, and then fucking that was the best. No, there's no destiny.
yeah.
It was just like I had to figure it out, and I did.
Yeah.
So I went on YouTube. How to make reels, and then
Dude, you're good at reels though.
well, there's
You're good at it now.
I'm good at it
You
now.
haven't just learnt how to do it. You learn how to do it well.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? So I'm
Okay.
good at it now.
Yeah, you did. You made some shit ones first, I'm sure.
I know because I get the memories, they pop up, and they're
Yeah.
like, this is you from 3 years ago. And I'm like, that looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
No wonder no one watched this, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Is you just got to go over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And no one sees all the ones that is that Melbourne comedian Hannah Sainty? It is.
Could be. Is it?
It is.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know people.
I know people. And but the first whole bunch was shit. Right? But like the key is you got to stay in the game when the game sucks, right? And I was very thankful that in my mind and my heart, I'd made the commitment. I said, I'm going to figure this out, right? And I'm going to be shit in front of people.
Shit for a bit.
I'm going to be shit for a bit, and I'm going to be shit in front of the people that love me the most, which are the people that my small network of people that follow me. I'm going to be, because they're not going to tell you anyway. Right. So I think,
that's true.
I think with reels as well, I'm going to nerd out for a little bit. Can I nerd out on the reels?
I've got to turn on the neon sign. I
Get the
forgot to do that.
neons, right. So this is the thing about reels, right? Is comedians do this
There it
especially. They're like, I made a reel and 500 people watched it. This is shit. And I'm like, yeah, 500 people?
That's
I might put them in a fucking room.
Yeah.
Like that'd be but comedians will go to like open mics and do like bomb to 6 people.
Yeah.
But then they'll put a reel online and get 500 views and think they've failed.
Yeah.
Because social media is very easy to judge yourself on, because the next thumb swipe away is something that's amazing, and that's part of the game. Like, is you're competing with all of the great things in life at once at a thumb swipe, right? So you just got to stay in it to win it, and you'll get the views and the results you want once your content's worthy.
Yeah. Once you've learned and learned enough.
Dude.
Yeah.
Once you figure it out.
You can't.
Social media is like the greatest meritocracy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people either watch it or they don't.
Agree. I do.
I put
agree.
something out and I go, this is amazing. Guess what? No one watched it. Oh, well, fuck it. That wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Meritocracy is a bit rich though.
Why?
Well, because I've seen some Colombian booties on there that I'm like, that's got 1 million views, and I know why.
1 million people disagree. The fucking million dudes black dudes. A million black dudes disagree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, white dudes. Please, there'd be a little pasty dudes fucking jerking off to that too. Are you kidding?
Dudes.
Yeah.
Just dudes.
Just dudes.
But you know, and it's like that's just the game, right? And you got to stay in it for volume, right? So I don't know how many videos I've made. Let's say I've put up 700. I've made 1,000.
Yeah.
Because 300, I got to the end of the process and went, nah.
Yeah.
This is dog shit.
Okay.
So like, you know, and hopefully 700 from now,
Yeah.
I look back on what's happening now and I go, dude, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
What was that thing that I just had to stay in the game long enough to figure out? Like I was doing reels for like the first 10 and then like I was doing them that way, horizontal.
Okay.
And then I would zoom in.
Oh.
And then I was like, you just turn your fucking phone around. Like, they don't teach that shit. You know what I mean? Like I just had to work that out.
I didn't think they needed to teach
exactly, right? But I was lucky I stayed in it long enough to pick up everything like that. I was like, oh, fuck the sound shit. I'm like, yeah, take your finger off the microphone. Like, so you just got to be in it to win it, right? And so I'm glad I had it in me to just keep showing up.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is that like there was an element of like the learning process that you enjoyed. Like you enjoyed figuring it out. Like you knew what you would like. At times you felt like what you were making was shit, but there was so much like learning that was happening just to get to that result that you were like, oh no, there's value here for me. Like even though that,
Yeah, everyone wants to like be something. You like, he's like, you got to become something, right? It's like, you know, it's like comedy, right? It's like playing the guitar. Yeah. Have you ever tried to play the guitar?
I play guitar.
It's fucking hard at the start.
Yes, it is.
Your fingers are like,
you don't mind if I smoke,
not at all, right? And it's like, but you
your
got to
fingers
what?
hurt.
But what do you got to do? You got to fucking show up, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to go. And then the next bit that you learned ages doing becomes natural because you picked it up and it's muscle memory. It's the same. So then you work on the next thing. And then you just keep like getting a building block that goes that way, right? It's really the same of anything in life. Like life is a practice. And especially social media.
He's getting all Buddhist on me.
Social media, exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm not getting what I want. It's like, yeah, because you're not good enough yet. So you just got to keep practicing. Yeah. And that's all it is.
We started talking a little bit before I pressed record. And like you were getting all deeply profound on me. And
I'm a deep man.
I love it. But we got so stuck in so quickly. I really appreciate that about you.
I'm getting older, right? So I can't be fucked having like shit
Small
conversations anymore.
Small talk. Yeah.
You know, I meet someone, I'm like, yeah, but like, how do you feel?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but it also fuels your comedy because there's a part of comedy that's really about critical thinking, right? And so like you do need to get deep with stuff in order to be like find the nuance in it that you can,
comedy essentially poisons the rest of your life, right? Because once the neural pathways are deep enough of like curiosity, okay? So I've worked in jobs where it wasn't about being curious, it was about doing process. So you go from A to B real quick. Comedy's really about going through the whole alphabet.
Yeah, okay.
And then figuring out which letter you want to finish at.
Yeah.
So then once you do that long enough, then that ruins your whole life because you're having conversation. You had a friend's baby shower and you're like, boy, what about this? Right? You know, and it's just other people are just like enjoying the moment. And you're like, I'm enjoying the 7 moments that could be a possibility from this premise. You know, like
just imagining you at a baby shower, just ripping it to shreds.
In your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just standing there a fucking hummus bowl.
The quiet voice. You still got the quiet voice.
Yeah, I'm just eating camembert in the corner like a fucking weirdo, right?
Just
Everyone's
giggling
just
at
like,
everything.
fucking Goundrey's weird, isn't he? Is he fucking eating the
He's
celery?
Just watching you. That's funny.
So it kind of ruins everything. Right?
Well, you asked me before, I think before we started recording, like if I've done stand-up before. But I've had comedians say to me that doing stand-up ruins comedy for them because it's like there's a formula to some jokes. And for them, at least for them in their case, they're like, oh, it's like I can tell the joke is coming, the crescendo is coming before it comes. And it kind of has ruined that moment where you get the punchline.
It ruins bad comedy, I think. But all of my professions have been the same. So just do what the army ruins. Fucking action films.
Well, yeah.
Because you're like, no, that gun doesn't hold 32 rounds, that's a 20 round mag. Like, it's fucking, and you're like, dude, it's just
32
Predator.
rounds? That's 1,000,000 rounds.
It's-
Excuse me, how often do you see John Wick change a clip?
exactly, right? So then you're just like, this is fucking, like, unrealistic, right? You don't worry about the aliens.
John Wick.
You're just like, there'll be an alien invasion. And you're like, that gun doesn't hold that many rounds. This is unrealistic, right? Then I got into then I got into cooking, and then that ruins everything, culinary wise, because then people start cooking for you, and they're all self-conscious. They're like, oh my god, he's a chef, and you're like, I'm just happy to fucking be here, bro. Like, can you? And then they're like, how was it? Like, dude, you got great hair.
Everything about it is
Bro,
great. Have a look at this
dude.
t-shirt.
You look like a fucking
Yeah.
porcupine
He
on
looks like
acid.
He
It's
looks like
fantastic.
a troll doll
You look like a troll doll
from the 90s.
Yes. Yeah, bro. 100%. Dude.
What about his entourage too? Like, they're fucking stylish.
Absolutely, dude.
Probably the most stylish people I've
Dude,
seen
got
in
a
the
big,
laneway.
thick dick, I reckon, eh?
He would.
Are we getting in a holiday selfie?
We are.
Where are you from? Where? Where are you from? What country?
Where are you from? Japan? Japan? China.
Hey!
The chick with the afro was like, Japan?
Yeah, fucking get out of town. Oh, dude, Asians are so racist to each other. Have you got Asian friends? They're fucking crazy to each
Temple
other.
talks about that. Temple talks about the time he was in Vietnam. And he was like, oh, it must be so cool to the hostel owner. He goes, it must be so cool being right here because you're so close to Cambodia, so close to China. And he goes,
cunts.
the guy puts his chopsticks down and goes, China?
Nah.
No.
Even my uncle would get along great. Yeah, they got the same attitude, bro.
It's so fun. Like, it is funny, you know.
It's hilarious,
and that's
dude.
one of the things about being here in Melbourne, like, and listening to a lot of the rhetoric around societies, you know, how we're shaping society, and everyone talking about how racist Australians are. I'm like, fucking, that's not exclusive to Australians.
Yeah,
please.
totally, man. Yeah,
Please.
we're fucking amateurs at it. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, go to fucking Korea and ask them about the Japanese. They were like, no, thank you. Yeah, they got some
Which
heavy
is
history.
wild that they had the soccer world or the football World Cup in Korea, Japan.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, look at fucking Europe, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What about it? Sorry, I don't know where you're going with
They're
this.
just soccer, right?
Yeah.
This is what I like about Europe, right? They've had 2 world wars, and then the whole world's like, fucking get out of it, you lot.
Yeah.
You've been how long are you gonna fuck around?
Quit already.
And then now they're like, right, we won't fight each other, we'll be mates. But as soon as we have a soccer game, all hell breaks loose. And so they're on like war methadone.
How wild is British like soccer, football hooliganism?
I like it because it's a culture. They call it football culture, and I'm like, I don't know about culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like violence. Yeah.
It's a very loose definition of culture.
100%. What were we talking about before the Chinese arrived?
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about you and reels and that. I think we've skipped to this part of your...
Right, it ruins everything.
Yeah.
Right? So what I was saying is ruining. So I was in the army, ruins war movies. Fine dining chef, ruins food, right? Comedy, is it like it now? Nothing's not much. The thing is funny, but on all of those points, right, is that if I see a really good, well-made film, I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
If I see some really, really great food, I'm like, this is
22
incredible,
rounds.
man.
They actually used 22 rounds.
You know what makes this good? They got the rounds right.
Yeah. You know what? That reminds me of the movie Heat.
Great film.
Oh, how good is that shootout scene?
Well, they teach that at military school. They're like, this is what's called a break contact, right? So then when you're shooting, so you want to shoot forward so you can run back. Yeah. You want to have like levels of fire going, so then the pursuers can't get their heads up, right?
Back to that movie,
right? So you go to military school, you go to the fucking army, and they're like, right, guys, watch Heat, and you're like, yeah, boy, Val Kilmer.
How good's that? Oh, that scene. He's so good in that scene.
But comedy is like, even though you know the tricks, but if you see some comedy now that gets you, even though you know it, it's like being a magician, and then you see something and you go, dude, I don't even, wait, where did that come from? Like, it only ruins the bottom bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for
you can
sure.
still enjoy the good stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So, and if you're if comedians are laughing at other comedians, they're having a great time. So, it doesn't ruin it, it just puts your standards up.
Well, firstly, congratulations on sort of pushing through the shit bit and sort of getting to where you are now.
Yeah,
what I
it's hard.
noticed is that recently you started sort of being very like thankful and grateful, saying, oh, you know, like you went from 18,000 followers to 20, like really rapidly. And you were like, whoa, this is growing really fast. And it seems like you're very grateful for the process.
I'm
Like
still,
the payoff.
I haven't got used to it yet.
Right.
I'm surprised is probably not the right word because I put the effort in. I'm not lucky.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've got
reward for effort.
I've got the reward, but I am not everyone gets the reward, so I am thankful for that.
Yep.
But
Which is good.
people are, like it's a tough economy, and people are spending their money to come watch me. I think
You're a hustler, though. You are a hustler.
I run a really interesting small business, which is that I don't sell anything except for a seat to see me talk.
At the moment, yeah. I can't see you
I sell
talk.
one seat to something you don't know that's going to be good and you can't keep.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an interesting business model. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at how business works, you want to solve problems. They don't really solve any problems, right? So it's a tough sell. I'm grateful that anyone would do that. Like, it's fucking
Buy a
cool,
ticket
dude.
to your
And
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's fuck, dude, man. It's
It's cool.
amazing. And I sacrifice a lot for it, Like, I kind of said I lost most of my savings in COVID
That's crazy.
just to kind of keep afloat for that little bit.
I lost most of my savings in crypto.
Swept across the globe. Took out many a young man. And, that was really good for me. It really reset the scale. I was like, because then I was like, after COVID gave me some time to think, and I was like, I really want to do this. I'm gonna take my shot. In life, I wasn't getting any younger. I'm not 25.
Yeah.
I'm at this stage. I'm probably 36. During the COVID times, 35, 36.
Yeah.
And but I said to myself, I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to take it, and if I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it as much as I can.
COVID was 5 years ago now, right?
Fuck off, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
20. Yeah,
It's a
30.
blur.
I was 7.
It's a blur. 2020, March 2020. We're March 2025 now, bro.
Damn, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I know. Time has flown.
So
yeah.
So I left. I left. I funded my first tour by myself. I didn't have. I had enough money for the start of the tour. I had enough money for the venues, which I had to pay for. I had enough money for the ads. That was the most important thing. I had to advertise it. I didn't have enough money for accommodation.
Right.
And I didn't have enough money for the second half of the tour.
What were you banking on?
It working. I was like, this has to work, right?
Yeah.
And I also didn't have the following that I had now. I had some stuff on TikTok. I'd pulled up probably 25,000 followers on that, and I had maybe 7,000 followers on Instagram. And I quickly realized that TikTok doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think
There's all these people. They could be overseas anyway.
I think one Instagram follower is worth probably 10 TikTok followers.
Right,
I think that's what you want. And also there were like some of them in America, some of them in the UK.
Yeah.
It matters, but not when you're like, hi, I'm in Albury, Wodonga. They're like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So I just took off.
Yeah.
And that was fucked. That was really difficult. And the stress that was, I couldn't sell a ticket like in advance. I was like having like 8 sales before I went to a gig, and then I'd get like 30 or 40 on the day.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes they wouldn't come on the day. Okay. So you're always in a state of like, this is going to fucking die.
Yeah.
And I need to fund the second half, let alone just like the thing. Slept in a tent and in my car whilst traveling Australia, touring.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's like, I look back and I don't even recognize that person, but like I was just wound up the whole time.
That was desperate. That
Well, I
was
was
a
like-
person that was you had nothing left to lose. You'd already lost it all.
I was pulling over and hotspotting on my computer to answer back to like a radio station. I'm like, fuck yeah, Triple M such and such is going to have us on.
Nice.
I had like an email address that was a fake one, which was just a lady that pretended to be my like publicist. Yeah, Sarah, dude. Hot tip. Her pronouns were she, they. You want to fuck with some boomer who works at the radio station? He's like, I better get back to this chick. It was just me, bro. He's like, I don't want to get cancelled. You know what I mean? So it was just... So I was just like, yeah, I'll let Jarryd know.
Elements
like,
of genius. Yeah.
And it's in that stuff where it's like, I don't know, this is kind of working where you find all of those things. Like, I remember my first Melbourne Comedy Festival. I was like, I'm not selling any tickets, right? And this is why I think you got to do more than you got to learn, right? Because when the do isn't working, you just start finding some solutions, right? And so I think like the army is very cool like that, because it gives you more options, right? Because people say in life it's like one door closes and another one opens.
Yeah.
You know what the army mentality is?
No.
You're like, let's blow it off the fucking hinges. So I'm like, let's just figure this shit out. Let's just kick down the
blow it off
fucking,
the
let's kick
hinges.
the cunt down, right? So I remember my first comedy festival, I was like, I'm not moving any tickets, right? So I came up with this idea. So I went to the bottle shop.
Yeah.
And I bought 10 Goon bags.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I went to Officeworks and I printed out my flyer and I made all of the outside of the Goon bags my comedy festival flyer, right? So then I just went to all the local backpackers and I just dropped each one off with a note on top being like, come thank Jarryd Goundrey at this place, 7:15. You got free tickets for everything, right? So then I sold out all these like shows in a row. Didn't make any money because they were all free. Place was full of drunk French people, right? But they were full enough to make it look like it was working. And then the second half of the run sold out literally, like normally, because everyone's like, Jarrod's doing it. Let's go. Yeah. And it's in those moments where you got to like dive in and do, because without the do, you don't figure out how to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went on the tour, and then it's like that only just worked enough.
Yeah.
Like I jagged a few, which was fantastic.
What do you mean jagged a few? What is
like
that, what does that mean?
a show here and there, like 80 people came, and I was like, fuck, dude, this $1,800 that we made tonight, this just needs to go into the next 3. Like, so I'm not making any money, I'm not making any money, right? So then you just had to like double down. And I'm really glad I did that. But if I had a bitched out and went, I'm going to wait until I've got like I wouldn't have figured out how to just, because in a lot of those times I was like, I'm going to make a reel today, man. I'm going to make a reel. Like, we got to show up, like, because right now the wheels are falling off this whole dream. You know what I mean? And I'm the only one driving the fucking bus.
It's like you're...
And no one cares about your dream, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
And that was kind of the basis of what made the thing grow.
I hope you're all taking notes, everyone watching, because...
I don't know what the takeaway is, but fucking be a dumb cunt and throw it all in. But
there's just like the perseverance, like there's a blueprint of perseverance there. Like, I love the analogy, let's blow it off the hinges, because like...
kicked in the fucking door, yeah.
Like, you know, it just leads to just like creativity beyond like what the average kind of not desperate mindset might get you to. You know what I mean? Like, people are printing out flyers at Officeworks. You're taking Goon bags around. You know what I mean? Like, there's that element of desperation that you had at the early stages of your journey just made you just think so creatively. I love that.
Well, I think it's important to put yourself into that position. I think it's a good thing. And I'm currently in a place now where things are getting things are kind of feeling a little bit comfy.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, we got to put ourselves back in the uncomfort, or we might be getting a bit soft here.
Ooh, yes.
Because all of the great things that I achieved came in those times. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like, where's the...
Must be so hard.
I'm like, yeah, well, it's scary. I feel scared.
It's a different challenge. It's like, oh, now things are going good.
Yeah.
The challenge is not getting into the comfort zone.
We got to fucking put ourselves we got to put ourselves in the shit.
I can tell why it's growing so quickly, because you just like, it feels like you just got the right mindset.
Well, I think a lot of people do what they do as well is they probably put their goals too short. Right.
Uh-huh.
So I hear comedians talk about this. They're like, what is your goals this year? And they're like, this year I want to do the Adelaide Fringe.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, you can just do that. What about the rest of the fucking year, dude?
I love the voice.
It's my like pathetic voice. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But what are you going to do for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You know, like you can do that pretty quick, you know? And then, so I try to stack like a lot of things up, like what's my goal for this month? Because then you get to the end of the year and you're like, I've done 12 years worth of goals if I had just played it safe.
Yeah.
So then you just kind of keep backing up on the next one, right? Because most people say, like, if you go, what's your goal this year? They say, I want to do this. It's like, cool, get it done in a week. You'd probably get it done.
Yeah.
You just figure out a way.
Yeah.
So I think like really taking back your deadline to like something that's close. Because if you dwell on like what you want to get done in the year over 12 months, you can fuck around for 6 of those.
That's true.
And then just like crawl over the finish line and call itself a good year. You know what I mean? People are like, I want to run a marathon this year. It's like, well, all right, well, I'll see you in 6 weeks, cunt. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, you can get quick growth if you do that.
Yeah.
Because then you're pushing on to the next one. And then in 3 years, you don't even recognize yourself.
Especially if you have that mentality of like, you only grow, like you grow more when you're doing. and not just thinking about things or like researching things.
It's pretty okay to fail too, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's fine.
It's
People terrified of
It's
that
not
shit.
just necessary; it's inevitable. Like you're gonna fail. Like the quicker you fail, like the better. But I do want to sort of go back to younger Jarryd.
Go on, hit me up. Yeah, I forget
because,
about
like,
these days.
You do have, like, you've talked a little bit. You've given us a great overview of like the journey so far, and we sort of started at the end.
Yeah,
But like, what did you like? What compelled you to get into the army?
Honestly,
Not to say that that's not a noble profession.
no, there's a lot of bull in it. That's for sure.
So how old were you? Like, and you were like, oh yeah, I'm
18,
going to go
joined,
into the
dude.
army.
Yeah, look, I didn't know what I wanted to
And
do.
how many years did you spend there? as
7.
well? Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I grew up in Perth.
Yeah.
So when I graduated in 2004,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of opportunities over there.
Mining boom. Hello.
Yeah, but all of my
Fucking
mates were
drive a
doing
big
that.
cat truck around.
All my mates
buying
were like
6 properties.
electrician, plumber. That's all my mates did.
Right.
They're fucking minted now, by the way.
Because they were making $300,000 a year driving a truck around.
They're like, yeah, I don't know, my jet ski, don't really use it, but like, I'll get a third one, I guess. You know, fucking duh. Also, happy as fuck.
Yeah.
They got no ambition, and they're like, why does everyone have depression? I'm like, yeah, like you don't, because you just like have
'Cause
this
they don't
Netflix,
have cash.
right? Because they don't. Yeah, dude. Mate, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite jokes of all time is a guy called Andrew Wolf. He's a Perth comedian, and he has this joke. He goes, yeah, have you got depression, or are you just poor? And it's just so simple, because like I've had times in my life where I'm like, fuck, I'm depressed, and then like you get paid and you're like, nah, I'm right.
Money
But
can't buy everything, but it can buy you out of depression. I'm sure.
my mum always says, money can't make you happy, but no money can make you sad. And I'm like, yeah, that's the opposite of happiness.
Shout out to your mum.
Shout out to Jennifer. What were we talking about? Young Jarryd.
Yeah.
Right? So as a kid, like I was real imaginative, had a big imagination.
I don't think that stopped when you were a kid, bro. Just saying.
Well, I took it away for a while.
Oh, okay.
I had like a bit of a renaissance of creativity, which
Right.
I think is an interesting point that a lot of people do. So I was like imaginary friend guy. I was like, fuck, mate, you get me in a stick as a kid, I'd just be like, this is a fucking lightsaber. This is a rocket. This is anything I want.
Fucking genius.
Like just me and a stick in the yard.
Kids don't have that these days, bro.
Oh, mate, yeah, how good a stick is. I still see a stick every now and then, and I'm like, good stick, bro.
I just want to
Dude, I make a fucking podcast about sticks. You know? Imagine a YouTube channel dedicated to stick. I'd watch it.
Yeah, so you had this natural creativity.
Yeah, loved it. And then when
Wait, did you grow up in Perth?
Perth,
or were
Perth,
you like
yeah.
out of the...
Nah, we're just suburbia, man.
Yeah.
Like suburban Perth. Like middle, no one's rich, no one's poor.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
that was having a stroll.
Yeah.
And all my mates were like, I'm going to go do this
Yeah.
thing. And I just knew that wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I
okay.
knew that wasn't it.
Just didn't call you.
I saw I was just very fortunate of this. I could see the writing on the wall. I was like, that life doesn't lead where I want it to go. And I didn't have any other options. So I literally saw the army, and the army recruitment's very good. They know what they're doing.
Right.
I was in this office.
Was it like ads or something?
Dude, they're like, do you want to fucking jump out of helicopters and blow shit up? And I was like, what's the catch, bro? 8 weeks later, I was like, oh, that's the catch. Yeah. I was like, I'm in a shower with 87 dudes. I'm like, yeah, this catch is like 8 fucking inches long. But you know what? I just saw it, and I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know I didn't want to be where I was.
Yeah.
You know when you play cards and you got 7 cards? And then they're like, hey, if you don't like those, you can just throw in your cards.
Yeah.
That's your turn. You get another 7.
Yeah.
I was like, if I sign this line, that's a new 7.
Yeah.
It might not be what I want,
Yeah.
but it's not here,
Yeah.
and we can just like we've got movement. We're moving in a direction. It might not be. Time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so it was a
and then
risk.
it just.
So you didn't know anyone in the army. You
Nah.
were just like, fuck it. May as well try that.
No family. No. I
wanna
just
jump
saw
out
it.
of helicopters.
Yeah, well, I just saw like a video of someone shooting a machine gun out of a chopper, and I was like, yeah, that looks like it gives you an erection.
Doesn't not look cool.
Can I just tell you that shooting a machine gun does give you an erection? Yeah. We got a term for it. It's called a battle boner. And it's wicked. Yeah. Blowing stuff up's great. It's the best. That's the only... I miss that. Like every now and then I go, oh, Like I just see something and I want to blow it up. You know, it's
regretting not ever joining.
yeah. I reminisce on explosions.
That's one thing I can't ever get, a paddle boner.
I can't get any more either. You know what it's like to have it and take it away? You're of a vintage. Remember when we could say the N-word? Now you can't. And you long for it?
What N-word are you talking about?
Come on. The one.
Yeah.
So I've had it. I've had the explosions. You know,
Yeah.
I've thrown a grenade. No, I can't anymore. Like it's a tough dragon to chase.
Yeah.
But you know, like it picked me up out of my life, and then I was just there, and everything was different. Everything's different. Your hair's different. Like everything's different. All your friends are different. You have like a new standard. You have like a new code. You have a new life. You've got like, and then you acquire like skills. They teach you shit. And it was very nice. The best thing I got out of the army, I'll tell you the best thing I got out of the army, was I saw 1,000 people say, I can't do this. And then they did. And I was like, oh, like it's a very learning based. So they go, do you want to shoot a gun? And you're like, yeah, they don't ask you. They're like, you're shooting the gun, right? And they go, right. First of all, we're going to learn how to clean it. And you're like, but we haven't shot it. You clean it first, and you learn how to maintain it. Then you learn how to do the paperwork associated with it. Then you learn how to hold it and carry it. Then the last thing is the shooting. And you get all of the building blocks in the thing. And then they teach you how to teach other people how to use it. So then the system allows you to teach everyone, and then everyone can teach each other. So you can keep really high level at it, right? And I think that was very beneficial to learn that, like, oh, things are a real process. And the military has something called the blueprint. And the blueprint is how you learn anything. And it's very slow and steady, but it means that anyone can teach anyone anything. They're like, if you know how to use the skill, apply it to the blueprint, and I can go, right, we're going to do some drill. First of all, you need to stand like this. Show me. Wrong. I'll show you. Show me again. Nearly there. It's like this. Show me. Got it. Next, we'll turn left. Show me. Wrong. Let's do it this way. And it builds on top of it. And I think I took that with me for the rest of my life, which is fun.
Yeah, that's great. You know, and I'm kind of thinking here as you're talking, I'm just sort of reflecting on, you know, a lot of your comedic pursuits, you know, taking the mickey out of the experience. But now listening to you talk, all you've talked about is like the virtues of the experience.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's so funny to have, like, the only Jarryd I've known to date is online Jarryd and your comedy.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of me thinks, are we going to sit here for 2 hours and just rip the shit out of the army?
No,
here you are, just talking about how fucking awesome it is and how the lifelong skills that you've taken away from it. It's awesome.
It's the best. And what I like about the army too is that everyone in it shits on it constantly while you're there, mid-thing.
But they're learning stuff and
but you love
getting
it,
better.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're like, hey, we got to put all of these sandbags from here to there because there's a flood coming. You're like, all right, no worries. So then you're in a line passing sandbag to person, just talking the shit. Just being like, who the fuck organized this? This is the stupidest thing ever. It's just men lifting stuff. You know what I mean? You'll be like mid-blowing stuff up. No, fucking blow this shit up. This is boring as. And then you're like, you know what I mean? It's a wonderful organization.
It would have changed you. Like it sounds like it changed you forever.
Yeah, it has to. It by definition, it has to, because you need to learn how to do that. And like the job's serious as fuck, dude. I was an infantry, right? So that just blow shit up. Like I was a soldier. I was a soldier. So there's lots of jobs in the military. Some people are the IT guy. You know, some people pay the people. Some people are the office people.
So you can be in the army, you can put the camo on, but you might be in the office.
Mate, there's fucking shit. Like there's like 72 of people for every one of like the soldier. Right. Because it's just this big hulking, laborious thing, right? There's someone that holds a clipboard and they're like in a job called movements, and they just go, right. They're like, how do you get, they get the war from here to there. And then at the end is just like the pointy end.
Do they try and put everyone in infantry, and then be like, oh no, that's just not going to work out with them. Clipboard guy.
They try and do enough testing at the start to be like, this guy's a fucking killer, you know? And I'm glad and they're like, maybe this like autistic dude, because there's heaps of autisms, bro, and it's awesome. They're like, hey, you're the drone guy, and they're like, thank you, you know, like and that's good for them. And
it suits their natural capabilities.
It's a big system.
Right.
It's a huge system because
So
someone's got to order the stuff. There's warehouses full of things. There's 10, 20-year planning. There's intelligence people. There's the guy that drives the tank. There's the guy that loads the tank. There's the guy that loads the helicopter. There's the helicopter pilot. There's the person who packs the parachutes. Like there's just a million and one job. I still hear people. I catch up with them at the shows and like, hey, what do you do? And they're like, I do this. And I go, what's that? And they're like, I don't know. It's just a big government job,
Seems
right?
really like every role is very specific and very niche.
Yeah, totally.
Could get really repetitive after a while.
Yeah.
You might, if you weren't getting battle boners, you might get over it.
100%. Yeah. Because there's some people that just do one job. Like you find this in like a Navy ship where like the whole ship is like the weapon. But then like one guy's job's like, what do you do? Is like, I just make sure this oil level is always level.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
Because if that doesn't happen, the multi-$100 million thing could break and die. So like you get out, this guy's got like heaps of medals and he's like, I've checked oil in Afghanistan, I've checked oil in like the Persian Gulf, I've checked oil, like he's just been everywhere doing the oil,
That's
right?
what the medals can mean.
Yeah, I've got
Interesting.
3 medals and
didn't
most of
kill
them
anyone.
are participation awards.
Got 3 medals.
Yeah. I don't wear them though. You get, you get into 2.
Why would you?
You get into...
I mean, like,
chicks hate it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anzac Day is a
That's
ripper.
why you would.
Anzac Day is funny. So I'm not a medal wearer. Some people, it's about 80-20. I'm in the 20 that don't.
Yeah, okay.
But I just never needed to. I'm all right.
Show it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can drink for free on Anzac Day though.
Nice.
You can.
Well, do you have to be wearing something special?
You got to wear if you wear the medals.
Oh, okay. You got to.
Because people be like, "Are yours?" And you're
Why
like,
would you not take that up?
"Because
Free booze for a day.
Yeah,
You've moved
yeah.
beyond that.
Well, I'm at a point now where like in the niche field of people who serve in the army, I'm like extremely famous,
Right.
which is the best way to be famous
Okay.
because it doesn't affect my life
Yeah.
outside of like Darwin,
Mm.
where like all these big military bases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need the medals anymore. And they're like, "Are you that guy?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I make the reels, and they're like, "You must be interesting." I'm like, "I'm not. I'm really into analytics."
Yeah.
Like, and
Okay.
I see the light in their eyes fade away as they talk to me. They're like, "I thought he was just this 40-second funny dude, but really he's just a bit nerdy." And I'm okay with that.
I've been flicking through, I flick through some of the comments on your reels from time to time.
It's crazy,
and
hey?
and it looks like there's a lot of military people that
Huge.
follow you.
Yeah.
And that you're a bit of a, I don't know, I would say that you're a bit of a role model for them. I would say,
I
like
tell
in
you
the
what-
way of like, oh, you're doing something with your life.
I didn't start out to be. It's just a byproduct of me trying to earn a living doing comedy.
It sounds like it reads as though everyone's stoked.
Yeah,
for
they
you.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of military people, because they go through that system where they become the military. They find it hard to transition out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
So for me, doing what I'm doing is very rare. To then go in a creative angle and then, I guess, put yourself out there. A lot of military people are very humble.
Yeah.
And they don't like, outside of the
Spotlight.
medals on Anzac Day for the
Yeah.
free beers, they're actually very quiet.
Right.
And we get to do some pretty mental stuff and see some pretty crazy things, and we're just happy to then step away. So for me to do this has been weird,
That's really cool.
and the response has been overwhelmingly awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So 7 years is a because I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of people listening to this that don't understand what it's like. So you got to a point at some point where you're like, oh, I'm going to resign from this. Is that what happened? Discharge.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just a paperwork thing. It takes 6 months to get out
It does. Okay.
because they're like, "Are you sure?"
Oh.
And they want you to stay.
Yeah.
Because you're worth heaps too.
Yeah.
You're like it's like $1 million to train a soldier.
Yeah, I figured that. Like, you're a resource now. But
I'm
not
like
only that, you're an exponential resource because now you can teach things.
Yeah. I'm like
know what I
worth
mean?
the same as a tram.
Right.
Like
yeah,
in
that's
monetary
crazy.
value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's wild.
You're like, there's that tram guy, you know?
Yeah.
So they're like, that the money's in the upfront training.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And weapons are really expensive.
Mm.
And sometimes we just shoot weapons. They're like, right, we're going to blow things up today. And they're like, and sometimes you get to the end of the day, you're like, that was like 300 grand of taxpayer money. You're like, sick, you know? Yeah, there's a rocket that we would, would get shot called a Javelin.
Yeah.
And that thing...
Is it one of those that you hold?
Yeah, so you put your face on it. I tell you what, I couldn't do it anymore because I don't know how to use it anymore. It's been a long time. But if you know how to use it, you can teach someone in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you play an Xbox, you can. And this thing destroys tanks, right? And it shoots out a missile that flies out. It goes into the sky.
Wow.
And then it comes down on a tank and blows it up because that's the weakest part of a tank.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's 125 grand a shot. And sometimes, and I've been at the range, and one has shot out.
The range is like where you shoot these things as practice.
Yeah. So they have big ranges for blowing things up, not like a rifle range. They have those, but then they have, as in bush, that's just full of bombs that haven't blown up, and you can't go out there; it's too dangerous. Right? Yeah, right. So it's just parts of Australia where they're like, if the greenies know, like, what happens out there? You're like, oh, it's just like an old weapons chemical testing place, there's like koalas out there like but
trigger warning
with the missile launcher. I've been at the range, 125 grand a shot, right? And they press the button and it just goes thunk, and just spuds in. Not all. Hey, guess, do you know what you don't know about weapons? Not all of them work. There's like duds. And then someone's got to go out there and blow it up. Yeah
That's someone's job too.
Yeah
Or the guy that blows up. Fuck,
that's a job.
yeah.
That's one job. So you're like, well, I'm the EOD, explosive ordnance disposal. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the process of training a soldier and all these things must be so hectic. And then, it's fun, but you get over it. You get over it after a while, right?
It's like any job turns into a job.
Yeah.
And also 95% of the time, it's just kind of admin. So there's 5% kill, like train kill. And then there's like, right, we need to do the forms for the missile or the gun. And you're like, right, or they have big armories on base just full of weapons, right? And they are on a cycle, like a service cycle, where everyone needs, because they're qualified to maintain them. You're like, right, what are we doing today? Oiling barrels. Like, that's a whole day's work sometimes. So you're like, whoop, and you just sit around smoking darts and talking shit, and like, it's pretty fun, you know what I mean? And they're like, right, come in your shorts and your singlet. Like, you might just be in PT gear, and you're like, all week we're doing things, and then you finish that week and you go, right, what are we up to? They're like, we're got to get our vaccines this week, because you get like vaccinated against like all the weird stuff,
like malaria and all that.
Yeah, because they keep you like ready to go. So like, you got to be like
case.
African compliant and like this and that and things. So sometimes you go in and you go, I'm getting 12 injections today, right? Jesus. Yeah. And you wonder why everyone's got autism, right? So sometimes they're like, and that's a great week because you get half the day off. So you go get your injections and they're like, you don't have to do any PT this week. Yeah. You don't have to do any physical training because so you're like, how good is this? So you just go on the piss instead.
Nice.
Some week it's just like mandatory like training in like a theater room with like a PowerPoint presentation, and they're like, make sure that if it's 32 degrees or more that you drink X amount of water. Like, that's cultural briefs on like, by the way, this country is how they do things. And it's like not all that, it's just like a thing, right? And that just runs on a big cycle all the time. People come into that cycle and come out of that cycle.
Yeah.